History's greatest mysteries, unsolved and unbelievable. Some things in history make sense. These things do not. Lost colonies, people dancing themselves to death, entire armies vanishing. These are real mysteries that no one, not historians, not scientists, not conspiracy theorists, have ever fully explained. Let's take a strange little stroll through history's most baffling unsolved cases. The year is 1587. A ship cuts through the waves, carrying over 100 souls seeking a new life on the shores of Roanoke Island, off the coast of what we now call North Carolina. Their leader, John White, leaves them with promises of supplies and a swift return. But the journey back to England is fraught with delays, and when White finally returns to Roanoke, 3 years have passed. He is met not with the cheers of his people, but an eerie silence. The settlement is deserted, homes stand empty, supplies untouched. The only clue? A single word carved into a post, Croatoan. Did the colonists integrate with the native Croatoan tribe? Or did something more sinister befall them? Expeditions have scoured the island and surrounding areas, uncovering tantalizing fragments of pottery and tools, but the true fate of the Roanoke colonists remains an enigma. The streets of Strasbourg transformed into a stage for a bizarre spectacle. It began in July of 1518, when a woman named Frau Trophea stepped into the street and began to dance. But this was no ordinary jig or reel. It was a frenetic, ceaseless movement that consumed her entirely. Days turned into nights, and still she danced on. And then it spread. Within a week, dozens had joined Frau Trophea, their bodies swaying and contorting. Physicians were baffled. Was it a curse? Mass hysteria? Theories abounded. Some whispered of ergot poisoning, a fungus that can contaminate rye grain and cause hallucinations and convulsions. As the days bled into weeks, the dancing reached a fever pitch. Some collapsed from exhaustion, a few tragically succumbed to heart attacks or sheer exhaustion. The authorities, desperate to stop the madness, hired musicians and erected a wooden stage. But nothing worked. Picture the unforgiving landscape of the Ural Mountains in 1959. A group of 9 experienced hikers set off into the wilderness. Their destination, Mount Otorten, known to the indigenous Mansi people as Don't Go There Mountain. Days later, their abandoned campsite paints a chilling tableau. Their tent, ripped open from the inside, lies half buried in the snow. Footprints, some barefoot, some clad only in socks, lead away from the site. And then, the bodies. Scattered across the mountainside, each one bearing horrific injuries that defy easy explanation. One hiker had suffered a fractured skull. Another was missing her tongue. Others bore strange orange-tinged skin and graying hair. The official investigation concluded that the hikers had been killed by an unknown compelling force. Theories swirled: secret military testing, an ancient curse, or even beings not of this world. Whatever happened that night in the Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most perplexing unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. It sounds almost ludicrous, but the events of January 15, 1919 in Boston, Massachusetts were anything but funny. At the Purity Distilling Company, a towering tank filled with 2.3 million gallons of molasses stood like a slumbering giant. Then, without warning, it happened. A deafening roar as the tank's steel plates buckled, unleashing a torrent of viscous, sticky doom upon the unsuspecting city. A wave of molasses, 25 feet high and traveling at 35 miles per hour, surged through the streets. Buildings crumbled, horses thrashed in panic, people were swept off their feet. The air, thick with the cloying sweetness of molasses, was punctuated by the screams of the injured and the dying. Rescue efforts were hampered by the sheer scale of the disaster. In the aftermath, 21 souls were lost. Over 150 more were injured. Theories abounded: poor construction, a spark, or even sabotage. The sands of the Egyptian desert have swallowed many secrets over the millennia. The year is 525 BC. Cambyses II, the ambitious king of Persia, sets his sights on conquering Egypt. At his command stands an army 50,000 strong. Their objective: the oasis of Siwa, home to the revered oracle of Amun. To control the oracle was to control Egypt's spiritual heart. Cambyses dispatches his army into the swirling heart of the desert. And then, silence. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and the army of Cambyses does not emerge. Herodotus, the famed Greek historian, recounts the tale of a sandstorm that swallowed the Persian army whole. Others whisper of treacherous guides, or the desert itself rising up to swallow them. Whispers persist, fueled by the occasional discovery of ancient weapons and bleached bones. From colonies disappearing without a trace to molasses moving like a bullet, history is full of question marks that no textbook can erase. The stories we've explored today remind us that our understanding of the past is far from complete. What do you think happened in these cases? Do you have your own theory? Or do some mysteries just stay unsolved? Hit like if your brain just did a double take. Subscribe for more history that refuses to behave. And remember, the past is weird,